Alrighty, guys, we're back for Pia's plot, and this is Outlaws of Thunder Junction, Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, this was a suggestion over in the Discord, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. It was essentially to play Pia Nalaar with the new plot mechanic. So Pia Nalaar is a 2-mana, 2/3 legendary creature. Thopters you control have haste. Whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, you create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. So what's the new plot mechanic? Well, we'll check out Slickshot Show-Off here for that. This is a 2-mana 1/2 flying haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. All that's terrific, and it also has plot for 1 and a red. So you may pay the 1 and a red and exile this card, cast it as a sorcery on a later turn without paying its mana cost, plot only as a sorcery. Of course, yeah, that pairs beautifully with that Pia Nalaar. You have other things in here with plot like Demonic Ruckus as well. It's a 2-mana aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. It has menace and trample. When Demonic Ruckus is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card. That's pretty good. And then also the plot is only 1 red mana on this, so there's a lot of potential to really pop off in a build like this, especially when we're opting for Blazing Crescendo this time too. That just works really well with the Slickshot Show-Off. The target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn, and then you exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card, so just pairing with everything in here very nicely, huh? So some removal here. We might as well finish going over the 2-mana stuff, right? We got 2 Soul Partitions. A little bit of tempo removal. You exile target non-land permanent, and then for as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. And a spell cast by an opponent this way costs 2 more to cast every now and then. It's going to be rare probably, but you might exile your own thing, maybe to protect it or something, and then you get to play it from exile, and that extra 2 is only for the opponent. It's only taxing them and not us. So yeah, every now and then you might be able to do that for the Pia Nalaar to get extra Thopters and stuff too, and maybe, yeah, use it as protection. And we do have other protection packed in with a couple Surge of Salvations. Now, it's a 1-mana instant speed. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. You prevent all damage that black and or red sources would deal to creatures you control this turn. Kind of an underplayed protection spell, but honestly, we don't see too much protection in general, huh? So more ways to pop off with that Pia Nalaar. We have some ways to discover with like Etali's Favor. We have more ways to discover with all 4 Geological Appraisers as well. We have a little bit of adventure side of things with a cheeky house mouse here. The adventure side is target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. I think that's going to be terrific to put onto a Slickshot Show-Off and then just play the mouse side of this at the same time and get an extra Thopter down too. That's like a really sick line of play actually. We have more new stuff that we can plot. A couple Stingerback Terrors, 4-mana 7/7 flying trample. Well, what's the downside? Gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. Okay, honestly, probably won't. It probably won't be weak. This is probably going to be a pretty chunky dragon. And then the plot is only 2 and a red as well, so this could take up your turn 3. A top end with Quintorius Kand working really well with that Pia Nalaar. The mana base, we do have some tapped lands with the Hidden Volcano and a Restless Bivouac, but everything else is going to be pretty good, huh? Seat of the Empire, Crucible of Defiance. We got the brand spanking new fast land, Inspiring Vantage, very nice. And then also a whole bunch of honorable mentions that just didn't make the cut this time. I thought about Dust Animus, Cunning Coyote, Sheriff of Safe Passage almost made the cut, as well as Imodane's Recruiter and Trumpeting Connoisseur. All right, guys, we'll save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take it into some ranked and see how we do. Right into that first game, guys. Easy peasy. Okay, what am I expecting from the build? Bro, I want it to be good so bad, but oh, we go first. Beautiful. Okay, so we have a turn 1 plot. All right, we'll give this a shot. Because we don't need 4 mana for the terror. We just need 3 mana, plot it. Yeah, I want this to be good so bad, but like the The meta's been pretty brutal, man. A lot of people playing mono red, and mono red gets in really fast before you can do anything. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Speaking of the devil, huh? All right, we can... Okay, we're going to get the cheeky house mouse down as a 2-1. I was going to say... Yeah, no. This is good. I was going to say we could keep the Soul Partition open. But that's pretty good too. That's fine. Hold on. All right. Good turn 2 from the opponent. Slickshot Show-Off, huh? We're going to keep this as a blocker. It's rough keeping blockers against mono red nowadays because Monstrous Rage is always there, always present. Maybe we just want to opt for bigger blockers. All right, we're gonna plot the terror. Hope that we don't get too obliterated on their turn 3. We're gonna save the Ruckus because we don't want to go Ruckus and then they immediately just drop a Play with Fire or something, you know? Yeah, hopefully we have a good trade with the House Mouse. Keeping Soul Partition open instead of getting the House Mouse down would have meant a good tempo on that Feldon. Mana, so no 3rd mana. That is great news. Gonna be a shock for the House Mouse and a swing. So that's a shock that's not hitting our face. Down to 10. Another Ruckus, huh? Okay. So Terror doesn't have... Yeah, Terror doesn't have haste or anything. It's a really, really good blocker. The biggest threat is going to be a Witch Stalker Frenzy at that point. We're going to go ahead and plot you. Do we want to keep the... No. Yeah, we're good. We're just going to full plot. We're preparing. Get Nalaar off the top would be wild, huh? We could get it above a Witch Stalker Frenzy, but then the block might be obsolete. All right, no, we're going to keep it at Witch Stalker Frenzy level, so that way we're not afraid to still block with it. Even so, there's so many things. Okay, there's the 3rd mana. There's so many things that could still kill the terror off of a block, too, so... And Feldon's still getting through until we go for that Soul Partition as well. If it's going to be Monstrous Rage, then so be it. That's all not hitting our face. We kind of hope that they tap out here, too. Yeah, if it's going to be like Lightning Strike, for example, or anything like that. Oh, they're going max damage. They're really going for it. Okay. Oh, Play with Fire. We might die this turn, unfortunately. Oh, it's going to be a shock. Ah, GG opponent. Darn. Okay. We had a really sick setup. If we would have blocked the Feldon, that would have been equally as bad. They would have seen the top 5. They would have plugged everything into Kamano, and we would have went down to 1 off of the shock. Then seeing the top 5, they just grabbed more burn or something. We would have had to have some insane explosive comeback next turn. At that point, we would have had Terror, and we would have had free Slickshot. Maybe we should have played Slickshot. Like, we didn't want this to get shocked, though. You know what I mean? Maybe we should have just played it as a blocker. We would have had... No, I don't think that would have worked. Right? I think we would have needed to rely on actually winning next turn. So, like, Slickshot into free Ruckus. We had Soul Partition. That's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 7, 8, 9. And then 5... on the Terror, 1 mana open after the fact. So depending on what we drew, maybe we could have played it, got the Terror up to a 6/6. Yeah, so I think we were gonna die there regardless, as we were not explosive enough on the next turn. Survival on that turn though, right? If they didn't have lethal damage, if we actually had a couple turns, maybe. Getting the blocker down too with the slick shot, it could have easily, like that shock could have just hit the slick shot anyways, and that would have felt pretty bad too. Okay, opponent goes first. That's concerning. I'm gonna keep this because I like the double appraisers and the 4 mana, but are we gonna get to our 4th mana? I don't know. Oh, Skelly Bellies. All right, we're gonna start with the... No, what am I doing? Whew. I'm not used to Boros having fast lands. Yeah, I don't wanna waste these while we have them. And for 2, be happy about it. All right, Tiny Bones. That has Death Touch and something else going on. Combat damage to a player. You may cast target non-land permanent card from that player's graveyard, and mana of any type can be spent. Okay, nothing in our grave as of right now. Instead of just like letting our creatures die to an open cut down, right? They had an open swamp there. Or like pass back, go for the throw, literally anything. We set up with Slickshot and then get Pia Nalaar next turn. Or, well crap, first of all, maybe we aren't gonna make it that long. Oh crap, guys. They have 8 on the board with the Corpses of the Lost. Dude, this is rough. I was gonna maybe plot the Terror. That's not terrible, but we probably just die, right? Hasty Skeleton ends the game. So now we gotta just establish blockers, unfortunately. No attacks. We're in danger, bro. Now that Pia Nalaar's on the board, that another Corpse of the Lost. So we would have died easily there. So first of all, Tiny Bones, you're a goner. What, take 8? Keep Pia Nalaar back, see if Appraiser can do the thing. Get more chump blockers. That's tough business, man. That's really, really tough. We're down to 2 and in danger. They decide that the ETB is not worth bouncing back, which might mean that they just have another one anyways. So we want to hit a creature here. As many blockers as possible. Oh, Pia Nalaar. Oh no, that's not a creature we want to see. Off of that. All right. So we need to save all the blockers back anyways. So I guess we'll just keep the one with Summoning Sickness. Why? Because it doesn't matter. Okay, that's hasty. They have another one? Oh, crap, dude. Yeah, no, we needed to see a creature that actually stayed onto the board. Good. Oh, good game opponent. Yeah, that has Menace, by the way. It wouldn't have mattered if they had the additional creature, right? We still would have needed 4 creatures on the board, block 2 into the last one. But then, yeah, they had the additional skeleton too. Wow. Skeletons. Looking scary. That was, in fact, their turn 4, right? Right? Was it? No. No, that was their turn 5. It still took 5 turns. Wait. Right? Okay, guys. Hey, I still believe in the list. We have been struggling a lot to play our jank. Since the release, there are a lot of powerful decks, but it's mostly just been like mono red completely running us over. So it is nice to see the skeletons, and wow, that looked pretty good actually, didn't it? All right, we'll give it a shot. We have some early creatures here. I definitely don't mind getting down. We have the Etali, we have the Discover. Forest, okay. I'm gonna plot the Ruckus over the cheeky house mouse play. Probably Since that didn't affect combat, I probably should have done that in main phase too, but... Spirited Companion. Right. Vantage. It's nice to see these lands, huh? Ollie's favor, what you got for me, buddy? What you got for me? Hit something golden. Okay. Totally get max amount of damage out of this. Gotta anticipate removal next turn, so the Demonic Ruckus is not something we want to do yet. Good damage. Okay, we want to save the Ruckus for something. Like if they go removal for this turn. Okay, Spirited Companion, right? Because we know Selesnya enchantments well. It could have been Naturalist into Ossification and losing 2 auras. Like, I guess we would have drawn off of this, and then the Etali would have... No, that's the... I'm thinking of a completely different card. Yeah, it's just when it ETBs for the Discovery, but we still would have drawn off the Ruckus. A good trade for them, isn't it? So the Squeak By might be pretty good then. A Soul Partition... also available. Still get that draw on the Audacity. We squeak by quite successfully. Play all the mice. Play 1 mouse, keep Soul Partition. That's probably pretty good. We probably want to keep up pace in that manner. So at that point, do we want the Demonic Ruckus for the turn then? I wanted it to do something more fancy. We also could have just done Ruckus. I still feel like the Ruckus is, like, gonna do something better, so just keeping it out there as a free card. Like, if we see a Nalaar, for example, off of the Appraiser or something. Okay, Soul Partition open for some tempo. I mean, we have to anticipate that removal. Like, Selesnya Enchantments has so much removal packed in, so many enchantment pieces. Whoa. Okay. Well, that's going to be the tempo that we bounce with the Soul Partition for sure. Right, yeah, definitely pay that 2 down to 18. Soul Partition, interesting. All right, let's go ahead and get the Appraiser down and see what we see. Discover 3. Wrenn's Resolve, huh? Not bad. Slickshot Show-Off, all right. And a land, too, that's good. We can play the House Mouse. We probably don't play around a board wipe. They still have good blocks, don't they? There. We go all in on this one. The double block would be necessary, and the trample still gets through, and then we restock our hand. Okay, now's the time. And we're going to go all eggs into 1 mouse basket. Go for that swing. Because they're getting low. Double block. They draw 1, we draw 1. And 2 trample still gets through. They're going down to 6. They draw 1, we draw 1. Terror, huh? Get that other mouse on the board. We got a really good setup, guys. We do. If they play some blockers that have lifelink or something, Soul Partition can take care of that. We got a lot of mana on the board too. Weaver and Ossification. Take the Appraiser. Oh wait, Soul Partition hits the Ossification. We get Appraiser back. Discover. So we go Slickshot. Soul Partition, the Ossification. Oh, opponent, don't concede, don't concede. I want to play this out so bad. Oh, we didn't cast, though. We didn't cast. That's right. Oh, no. Appraiser's casting only. Well, I feel silly right now. Wait, that was still pretty good, though, right? Oh, they just took it. Oh. I guess that was their way of conceding. Well, hey, be careful, guys. Appraiser specifically says when it ETBs, if you cast it, discover 3. I'm sitting here like, oh man, this is going to be sick. Like, we're going to get this back. Going to get to discover 3. We're going to pop off with the Slickshot Show-Off and everything. But no, it would have been much better to just play Slickshot Show-Off and then Soul Partition their Weaver and then swing for 7. So we almost missed lethal damage there for the turn, which honestly could have been detrimental, even though we were feeling a little bit ahead. Luckily, the opponent didn't have anything else, so kind of a big misplay that I didn't get punished from, luckily, and that's good. That's good. But sometimes we get punished enough. The other day when I played the Alchemist, I played it from the plot for like no reason instead of keeping it out there to play around a Sunfall, and then they dropped the Sunfall right after that. It was a big oopsie-daisies. Monica's first. Man, these I like the look of these hands, but then whenever especially when I see the opponents go first, it's just like, are we actually going to survive? All right, we'll give this a shot. I don't want to not keep this just because we don't have a third, and I don't want to not keep it just because it might be more mono red. I'm scared. Send help. All right, so it's either turn 2. We might have a chance. First of all, right? We have Pia Nalaar. If they don't remove it, then the Etali's favor. We could start getting enough chump blockers down to deal with these first few turns. Okay, play with fire. They're going maximum amount of damage for the turn. Maybe while saving like a monstrous rage back or something too. Alright guys, let's see if the Pia Nalaar survives. If it wasn't the Nalaar, if we had like a plot for 2, I think we would have done that instead. If we had Slickshot Show-Off, we would have waited for turn 3 Nalaar. Oh, we're gonna have to... Uh-oh. It is gonna be a lightning strike. Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh. We're in trouble, bro. Totally dead next turn unless we can pull something off here. Well, they might be out of tricks. If we just get some creatures down. Uh-oh. We don't have another white source. What's the best bet then? They have 5 on the board, so very, very likely lethal on the board. I think playing the land was still fine because we'd want to get to 4 as fast as possible. We had a second white source to get a second chump blocker down. I think maybe we would have had a better chance. We might as well take the 6, guys, because there's pretty much everything in the opponent's deck can end this anyways. Like if they have another Commando. So if we went down to 2, like play with fire, if that turn could have been a monstrous rage as well. Okay, it passes back. We don't have the 4th for Appraiser. That could have been pretty good. So the best thing for the turn is Etali's favor, right? Yeah, Slickshot showing up. A little bit of an awkward time. Demonic Ruckus. Honestly, dude, not bad, huh? Yeah, not bad. So the opponent wins no matter what next turn. Let's get a nice fun swing in and just hop right into the next one. The good news about getting absolutely obliterated from mono red. Hey, Reckless Lackey making the cut. I like it, opponent. Get that first strike death instead. It only took 1. Yeah, the nice thing about getting absolutely demolished from mono red is at least the games are fast. So we get to hop right into the next one. We get a lot more sample hands, I guess we'll call them, right? And more ways of saying like, okay, well, what could we do to change the list to actually survive these early turns a little better? Because as far as I can tell, with all of the deck building that I've been doing since the new set released, mono red's like 60 to 70% of the matches, and they win by turn 4 very consistently. So that early game survival is so essential. What could we possibly do for our poor little janky builds? Tough business, man. Other than going first more often, but even then, like you're still on the run. And other than playing the mirror match too, right? Like it seriously could be a problem. Epicure, huh? Okay. Some Boros finally, maybe. It's been a second since we've seen any Boros. Maybe I'm keeping risky hands. I'll double check how much mana we have in here, but we should have 24 for sure. Okay, Pia Nalaar on 3 is going to be much better. Ruckus would have been good at the beginning. We have 2 Pia Nalaar though. Alright. We'll try our dandiest to set up for this. If we attempt a more steady curve for the deck too, taking out some of these 2-drops, maybe that could make it a little bit more consistent as well. See if they get their turn 3 War Leader's Call. Ooh, Night Air and Avios, okay. That's not terrible for us. They do get a good restock though. Oh, only hit a reinforcement. That is good for us. Mana off the top is beautiful, exactly what we want to see here. Just because we need to be able to do more all the time, right? More things on the same turn all the time. Show-Off might die, but it might not, and I think getting these nice hasty creatures down is going to be pretty good. Good to go ahead and plot here too, down to 16. I don't plan on blocking with the Show-Off, so I'm going to swing for 1. And we might need to chump block with our Thopter. Yeah, land off the top, double Crescendo on the Show-Off could pull us right back into this, because Ruckus can come down too. Actually, land off the top Ruckus might be lethal damage. I'm just going to take the 5. We're going to risk seeing that land. We do not see the land, but we could see the land off of Crescendo. Worth it. Worth the risk. Worth the risk. Come on. Land off the Crescendo. Oh, buddy. Extra Thopter. Crescendo. Do they have any mana open? Wait. 1, 2, 3. So we still don't want all of our eggs in one basket, right? We still, like, spread this out as much as possible here. Right? I think so. And then we swing in the air. That is 17 damage. All right. That was going to be a math is for blockers turn, even though the opponent couldn't block in the air. I was just going, like, maximum amount right here, right now. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that totally did a thing. We got really lucky actually seeing the 4th land on the Crescendo there. Or did we get lucky? Or was that completely normal? That was probably completely normal, right? I guess it depends how much land is actually in here. That was sick, dude. That's exactly what the deck is trying to do. We just need to do it more consistently. And there I was complaining that, look at this, guys. Look at this one lonely quest I kept at 29 out of 30 for green and blue, and here I am playing Boros. That's really funny. Okay. Anyways. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. Yeah, here I am complaining about that hand too, like looking at all the 2-drops, complaining that it like didn't feel that consistent, or like the curve might need to be reestablished a little bit in the build, but All the 2-drops ended up working out nicely there. Yeah, with all the mono red we're seeing, Surge of Salvation would have been pretty good to see that. Or to see against mono red. See, we got 3 mana, and we have no plays. No early turns, but we go first, so. Alright, let's risk it, dude. I think at this point, win or lose, it's just kind of is what it is, huh? Like, we just need to get more test games in regardless of what's in hand, unless, like, it's truly a mulligan. Or Skelly Bellies. Alright, Soul Partition's good. Yeah, no plays, just the Appraiser. No guarantees on the 4th. Yeah, I'm not hitting that with the Soul Partition. Kind of bones joins up, huh? Discard a card. I don't wanna. The Surge of Salvation could still be good. Actually, we could have used that to not discard. That's probably not great though, right? We probably just want to discard here. What do I discard? Crescendo probably, right? It's pretty tough. We have no targets for the Crescendo. As of right now. Another Appraiser. How risky of a hand could we have kept? 4th man off the top, it's no longer risky. So if it was Surge, and we paid the 1 to play the Surge, it would have been the same as just discarding the Surge. So that's something to consider if they do any more discard abilities or anything like that. Oh, New Blood. Okay, Legendary. Okay. +1/+1 counter. Mill a card and lose 1 life. Okay. Oh, not the land. No. Oh, more land. Okay, okay. We're fine. We're fine. It's totally fine. Come on, Appraiser. See something good. Okay, cheeky house mouse, huh? We're not swinging, so we might as well just go for the mousey. Not the greatest hit. Actually, one of the worst hits in the deck. Because that is our only 1-drop. Other than Surge of Salvation, which we also have 1 of. So hopefully Appraiser number 2 hits something a little bit stronger here. But now we actually have creatures on the board too, so we could go for Etali's Favor. I'm just going to discard the Surge of Salvation, even though it feels like it could be pretty good against this deck. I want everything else in hand. Ah, that's tough, bro. This is tough. Soul Partition should hit that New Blood, probably. Just take 6 down to 9. Okay, I guess. Yes. Risky plays on top of risky keeps. Quintorius. Not bad. Alright, we're just gonna go Appraiser. Maybe we'll get a swing here too. They only have 1 mana open, that's important. Ooh, Slickshot Show-Off. Alright. Yeah, if we keep 2 Appraisers back. Oh, they have a cut down. Well, that's definitely not great. So they get an extra counter. We could keep 2 blockers back. I don't plan on blocking with the Show-Off, so let's see what happens. So I don't entirely know what the opponent's playing, but it sure feels just like mono black. Mono black aggro, right? Bitter Triumph, nice. So Lifelink Menace on the New Blood. That's brutal. Since the extra counter. I can't believe how fast they were able to get 4 counters on that, huh? Whenever you commit a crime, you can pay 1 if you do. Alright, we should probably block. Should we jump? No. No, we'll just take the 6. We're in danger either way, and the opponent's doing all this with 2 mana, huh? Appraiser! Okay, we gotta be realistic. We have to go Soul Partition onto this New Blood, because it has Menace, so there's really no other play for the turn. Unless we hit a Soul Partition off of the Discover. Ah, what the heck, man? If we're risking it all for this game, we're gonna continue risking it all. Surge of Salvation. Oh no. All right, so just spot removal swing for the opponent, unfortunately, guys. Or have an extra creature too. That works too. A hasty creature. Good game, opponent. I could have played it out much safer. Maybe we would have still been there. Maybe we still would have been in that game. But we saw 2 of our 1-mana cards off of 2 discovers from the appraisers. That feels pretty unlucky. Did I have fun that game? We don't talk about that game. Arena, we don't talk about it. We put that one on the list. No. I mean, the opponent's list looked really sick. Mono black aggro, I'm assuming, and then just like, or mono black crimes, mono black legends, something. The opponent was playing something cool, and I'm down for it. Like it looked good, didn't it? Man, just 2 mana did all that. Yeah, we could have played it out much safer, but every now and then, especially when you're playing a deck like this, we're gonna have to drop down to 1 surge, aren't we? Opponent goes first. So hopefully an untapped red source off the top. Excuse me, guys. Really, hopeless nightmare. I mean, honestly. Alright, Surge of Salvation, yeah. It's not an untapped red source, so we don't have the plot on the Ruckus. So we are going to still set up for the plot on the Slickshot next turn for the turn 3 Pia Nalaar. Do we have 22 mana in here, guys? Did I make an oopsie daisies and not have 24? Case of the Stash Skeleton. Alright, hopefully we see our 3rd on time. I guess we don't need it next turn, but like we still want to... Yeah, no, we still want to see a land every turn, for sure. They take the Pia Nalaar, right? I think so. I think that the amount that we can establish with the Pia Nalaar is absurd, and that taking that takes away our entire next turn quite effectively. And that's the hit. Okay. All right, we saw a 3rd. That's good news, guys, because now we can go ahead and plot the Terror. If we play Slickshot, it could die to a cut down right away. So how much explosion do we want to play around? Because we could also go Slickshot number 2 plotted as well as the Ruckus. Terror might be the better bet though. No, I'm gonna risk it with the Slickshots, actually. Because what we could end up having is 4th mana off the top, Slickshot, Appraiser. Appraiser hits something good. Put that onto the Slickshot. Demonic Ruckus, put that onto the Slickshot. Oh, Bloodletter too? Oh my goodness. That is disgusting. Soul Partition. We're dead next turn, right? They got 5 on the board. So Soul Partition, just keep it open. We go... It's pretty rough that we don't have that Pia Nalaar doing the thing for us. Alright, since I risked it all last game, we'll do the better thing this game, right? And that is to actually get stuff on the board and actually tempo out with the Soul Partition. They don't know about the Soul Partition, so... they block the 3-2, the one without the Ruckus, because this has Menace now. Alright. If we got the 4th mana... Oh! Do we still tempo out? Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 11 damage. Wow. We don't die next turn because they don't have the swing on the Bloodletter. We still do it. I think so. There's a chance. There's a small sliver of hope that we can get through, especially now that one of the slick shots have trample. Appraiser could hit like the Etali's favor, give the other slick shot trample, if we see a land, of course. No, they keep 5 mana here. What are they going to play instead? Oh, this is 6 mana, first of all. Okay. Rankle's Prank! Oh! Oh, that's pretty good, though. Dude, Rankle's Prank. Well, now we're at 3. They're at 7. All right. All right. I was trying to think, like, what's the best way of survival? And that is just explosion next turn. Hopefully we don't die this turn. I suppose it could be if it's skeletons for some reason. Like, they have Case of the Stash skeleton. They could have that one hasty one. Oh, if they do, they can search it. They have 3 mana still, guys. We could die right here, right now, easily. I hope they don't have it. Yeah, for some reason it's Skelly Bellies. They play the 3 mana enchantment that gives skeletons haste. And it dumps a skeleton onto the board too, and that would be 3 damage. What are they finding? Okay. 2 cards in hand. Okiba, down to 2. Okay, they're up to 8. And a Sundown Pass. I'd say that 4th mana is a little bit too late here, but let's see. Do we have 8 damage? Yeah, that last card in hand could have been a nightmare. Could have been a hopeless nightmare easily. Could still be removal, so I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, full swing for sure, because we gotta get that damage through any way possible. Down to 1. This was a great game. This was a great game, opponent. On the edge of my seat. A lot of stuff happened. GG. Rush of the Dead. So what ended up being the killer there? 3 mana. Spree. Target opponent loses half their life rounded up. So half of 1 rounded up is 1, I suppose? So we lost 1 life. Nice. Dude. Well, that really could have gone either way, huh? I think so. That was pretty great. Cool deck from the opponent. I like it. Guys, we're about 43 minutes in. Let's go ahead. Go over Pia's plot one more time. Oh, buddy. Our poor Jank. Our poor Janky Jank. It's a tough uphill battles, man. You gotta giggle sometimes, right? Because like when it's that tough, whew, what do we do? How can we ensure earlier survival? Thought Surge of Salvation was gonna do more. No, bro, I don't even know if I want it in here. We were hitting our 1 mana cards with all these discovers, and we just want to be more explosive when we're dropping these discovers. The Stingerback didn't do as much as I wanted either. I still like the plot, but I'm not convinced that we want 2 of those in here. More survival. More survival. Thinking. Let's... Anything with lifelink or life gain? Guys, while I'm doing this too, make sure... Go ahead, drop a comment. What would you add or take out? For sure. What about, Oh, first of all, Angelfire Ignition could be pretty neat. Right? I mean, I don't know. Like, it's 3 mana. So you can hit it on the Discover with Etali's favor, or you can hit it on the Discover on Appraiser, and either way, you're pretty happy. You hit it with the Appraiser, it gets Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, and, here's the bonus, haste. So if it's your only creature, if Appraiser is your only thing, you still have that haste, you still have Vigilance, you're gaining life that turn. Oh, dude, I talked myself into it. Yep, I sure did. Talked myself into the Ignition. Do we want 2 of them? No. Right? No, probably not. Right? Man, I really talked myself into it. Because if you go like Etali's Favor onto one of your creatures, and again, if you ever see Ignition off of the Discover, you're pretty darn happy. Huh. Yeah, I think the lifelink, I think that might actually be able to pull us up from the grave against mono red. Like, even if you have some slow early turns, like, okay, Angelfire Ignition on Slickshot Show-Off, right? Like, think about that. That's really good. +2/+0. Two counters onto it, too. Vigilance Trample, Indestructible. Lifelink, Haste. Already has Haste, but still. Flashback for 4. I talked myself into it, dude. At that point, too, if we really are struggling that much with the life and everything, maybe the Lightning Helix over the Soul Partition. Drop down to 1 Soul Partition. Do we want Surge at all now? we're opting for survival, and it's funny that like Surge just didn't do nearly as much as I thought. I thought like we were gonna just have creatures out there all the time. Excuse me, guys. I thought we were gonna have creatures out there all the time that were just gonna like be under constant pressure of removal. But realistically, like we just never saw the protection when we needed the protection anyways, or we never had the open mana for it. Then you really, really don't want to see this with your Discover unless you're up against mono black or mono red or Rakdos or anything with red or black in it, right? You never really want to see that off of Discover unless you're up against those things and you happen to be swinging in when they actually have creatures on the board too. It just wasn't a great pick, was it? And I think I have to admit that, and I think we have to drop it. And the Soul Partition was actually really good, but how often would a Lightning Helix have done the exact same job? Very often, right? I think so. So keeping the 1 Soul Partition is still fine and dandy, I would say. With all the extra plotting, it wasn't too bad to actually get the Thopter Ball rolling. Maybe we don't need the Wrenn's Resolve, but the Wrenn's Resolve did help us a few times, didn't it? Maybe we could go down. There's so many 2-mana cards, dude. This is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about. Oh, there are 24 land in here too, by the way, guys. Yep, 24. Didn't feel like it always. Totally want to see the land every single turn. But do we want 25? Probably not. Do we want 3 Pia Nalaar? Maybe. Maybe. More 1-mana cards. I guess, yeah, when you are discovering, the less 1-mana cards, the better. And I still like Cheeky House Mouse, by the way. I actually really, really like this in here because it pairs so nicely with the Slickshot Show-Off. But then, of course, because it's an adventurous little mouse, it also pairs with that Pia Nalaar. Seeing the Pia Nalaar, the second Pia Nalaar, off of the Discover was pretty devastating that one game too, wasn't it? I'm going to go down to 3. It is a legendary creature. We don't mind seeing it every single game. That's what the deck's built around. But I think going down to 3 is fine. Yeah, we're making a lot of changes to this one, huh? Third Lightning Helix. Like when you see Lightning, let's think of mono red, right? When they play Lightning Strike, it's always bad news. Like no matter what. And you're like playing around Lightning Strikes in your head too when you're playing against them. You're constantly like, I play this, is it Lightning Strike for the turn? If it is, at least it's not a Lightning Strike hitting our face and then their Monastery Swift Spears just get through. So like it's constant with Lightning Strike. It's the same concept with Lightning Helix, except you're gaining 3 life and maybe you're hitting Helix off of like Discover and stuff, and that feels pretty good if you end up doing that. So Soul Partition your own things for protection. We go up a Soul Partition. It would look 22 drops. 2 Soul Partition, main removal, and 2 Lightning Helix as a way of gaining life, acting as removal, also being able to hit the opponent's face too. Blazing Crescendo, maybe? Maybe Blazing Crescendo could drop down to 2. We go up like another Wrenn's Resolve or something. Wrenn's Resolve felt pretty good. I almost dropped it. Blazing Crescendo's explosive, but how often are we going to have those creatures out there? Did I talk myself back into 4P and Nalaar then? Probably not. Well, you know what? I did because Nalaar enables survival through trump blockers, extra Thopters, right? So that's going to be up to you guys too. Speaking of up to you guys, I would put this on the do not craft list, period. It's going to be janky. The meta's really, really rough unless you just plan on like having fun in normal play mode or something. Even then, it's going to be pretty expensive, right? We got some new rares here with the Terror, new rares with the Slickshot Show-Off. Up here, Nalaar's rare, that's a very specific rare that doesn't go into every build, right? Some of our removals rare. I guess there's like some budget replacements too. Angelfire Ignition's rare. We got like cards rotating out soon too. Well, not soon. Well, yeah, I guess soon, right? When's rotation? What month is rotation this year, guys? I'm not really sure. Sundown Pass and everything too. Which, by the way, the mana base. Do we need to talk about it? We got 83% red, 42% white. The slow lands didn't hold us up at all. That's good news. We have 80, 80, 30. Do we need another white source in the mana base? If we go, what do we? Yeah, it's 3 to 8, but the ratio over here is 4, 40, 80. No, probably not, because we have double red in the casting cost on Appraiser. Double red on the Terror. We're likely going to be plotting this anyways. But then if you want to do House Mouse twice on one turn, I mean, that's just a reason to actually have all the extra dual land in here too, right? Okay, I think this would be fine. I don't think that the mana base would hold us up here, but maybe we want an extra white source. Definitely something to consider. I actually think this version of the list, even though the curve looks even worse, I do think this might be a little bit more consistent. I think the Angelfire Ignition and the Lightning Helix will help us survive against the mono reds a lot longer. Just a couple more turns might be all it takes, because we actually had some pretty good explosion in here. Slickshot Show-Off actually just been showing off, huh? So let me know how you feel about dropping to 2 Crescendo just to like squeeze more things into the build too. Because Crescendo kind of feels like it would be good, but maybe not all the time, especially if we don't have creatures on the board. So same concept with an Ignition though. Hopefully we'll be able to consistently have creatures on the board. It's only 17 creatures packed in. Quintorius also generates creatures too though, so maybe. I mean, same concept with Ruckus. Yeah, we do need creatures on the board all the time. That might be another thing holding up the deck a little bit, especially now that I dropped a Terror too. That's one less creature. Okay, guys, either way, enough rambling, huh? If you guys made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. Seriously, I really do appreciate you watching all the way through, and make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. All right, guys, hey, I will see you in the next video.